Hello, it is Friday the 24th of January and it is the first day of the 2025 Big Garden Birdwatch. I'm just about to start my 1-hour garden birdwatch through my studio window, which is just in front of me. But before that, let's rewind to Wednesday this week when I did a practice run and also talked about the sign-up process for the Big Garden Birdwatch and talked through the materials that I received from the RSPB through the post. And then we can get into the birdwatch itself, which I'm actually really excited about now that it's here. It is Wednesday, the 22nd of January 2025, and I'm on my lunch break at the moment. So I have come into my studio. So this year I'm going to be taking part in the RSPB's Big Garden Birdwatch, which takes place between the 24th and the 26th of January. You don't have to be a member of the RSPB to take part. It's for anybody based in the UK who wants to sign up and take part in what they describe as the UK's largest annual citizen science wildlife survey. So I decided to sign up. I think I signed up in end of December 2024, and I ticked the box to receive a paper-based guide for the survey because I wanted to receive a physical information pack that I could share with you. So I received this a couple of weeks ago, I think it was, and of course that's in plenty of time for this Friday, Saturday or Sunday. So I thought I would talk a little bit about what the Big Garden Birdwatch actually is, what's involved in taking part. And then today, whilst I'm on my lunch break, I wanted to do a practice run. But first of all, let's have a look at what I was sent from the RSPB when I signed up for the birdwatch. I think the best thing for me to do is actually take shots of what's in front of me separately and overlay the video with those. So I'll just read them out. So I received a leaflet which says, "Are you Birdwatch ready? 20% off plus delivery. Shop with us for everything you need for a busy birdwatch," and then a link to their shop. So they are selling a birdwatch bundle, which is various bird food. They're also giving advice, which I think is really good, about helping your birds this winter. The leaflet that they sent me also talks about last year's birdwatch. So they say that 600,000 people took part last year. That's just a leaflet about the birdwatch for this year. They also sent me a guide and tally chart. So it says to count the birds you see in your garden from your balcony or in your local park for 1 hour between the 24th and 26th of January. So I didn't actually know you could do this from your local park, but I guess that makes sense. Not everyone has a back garden or a space where they can bird watch. The chart shows some of the birds that you might see. You can, of course, record other birds that you see as well during that time. As you can see, they show the male and female birds where there are significant differences. Where there aren't differences, they're not showing the male and female, they're just showing the one. And on this guide they also provide the rules for the bird counting, and those rules are to only include the birds that land, not those flying over, to count the highest number of each species you see at any one time, otherwise you could count the same bird twice, so that makes sense. So for example, I give an example, if you see a group of 8 starlings, but then towards the end of your hour you see 6 starlings, record 8 as your final starling count. So that makes perfect sense. And then in terms of submitting, you submit online. If you can't submit online, you can complete and send the enclosed form. So obviously I'll submit online because I think that's probably easier for them in terms of data collection. They also provide a link for ID tips and expert advice. And the final thing that I received in the envelope, which I probably should have spoken about first, is a letter basically welcoming me to the Garden Birdwatch, talking about the 20% off the shop, telling me how to take part 1 hour between the 24th and 26th of Jan. And even if I don't spot anything at all, I should submit that also. And there's also a bit of data. Counts of song thrushes have dramatically fallen since the first birdwatch in 1979 by 85%. The number of wrens counted has gone up by 68%, which is obviously great. That's since 1979. Over 9.7 million birds were recorded during last year's event. And in 2024, so last year's event, the house sparrow got the top spot, and they're asking if it will retain the top spot this year. There's also a call to join the RSPB and a joining membership form. And that's it for what I received, I believe. I don't think I've missed anything out. So that's all the information. I actually am going to use the fold-out ID guide just because they've sent it, so why not? I'll save the ID guide for the actual Birdwatch on Friday, and now I'll just make a note on a piece of paper for practice, but I'll have the guide in front of me just so I can get used to referring to it. Okay, so I've actually now used up half of my lunch hour, so let's get straight into bird watching for maybe 20 minutes as a practice for Friday. Okay, it is the end of the practice run. I need to get ready to go back to work now. Okay, so that was Wednesday and now it's Friday and the hour is about to begin. So I'm going to get my camera ready, my bird ID guide, my pen, and just get ready to birdwatch. So very excitingly, the first bird that I saw was a dunnock. I do hear them in my garden quite a lot, but I don't often see them. However, I heard one, I looked out and I saw one sat right at the top of the honeysuckle that runs along one of my fences. So that was a good start to this hour, I think. And just so you know, I put the bird food out in the morning only, but because I don't have that many birds come through the garden throughout the day, it usually takes the full day for all of that food to disappear. Okay, 10-minute check-in. I have seen the dunnock, as I already mentioned. I have seen a wood pigeon, and I also saw a sparrow very briefly land on the fence and fly straight off again, so I don't have a shot of that. So it's been half an hour now. I haven't managed to capture on camera all of the birds that I've seen, partly because some of them have only landed for a few seconds and partly because I have double glazing in front of me. And with light reflections, I'm struggling to focus on the birds before they fly off. But in the half an hour that's gone by, I've now seen one sparrow, one dunnock, two pigeons, one wren, one robin, and two jackdaws. So half an hour to go. Let's see what I can see and hopefully capture a little bit more on my camera in the next half an hour as well. What you can see in some of these clips is a mixture of suet, seeds, grains mixed into a kind of paste type thing that I put onto the branches of the trees. It's much later now. In fact, it's actually early hours of Saturday morning. I've just gone onto the RSPB website to submit my results and seen that there is actually a live leaderboard for results for this year. So I was thinking that the full results wouldn't be published until the spring. In fact, that probably is still the case because some people are submitting by post, but I assume that this is the results that people are submitting online. So when I submit my results in a minute, it will contribute to the live leaderboard, I imagine. So from the live leaderboard, I can see that house sparrow is in top place and it actually came top in 2024. Blue tit is second at the moment and wood pigeons are third at the moment. So I'm now going to submit my results and see what the process of submitting results is like. Okay, so after that simple form, this is what I can see. So actually, this is how I can share with you what I saw today. It wasn't very impressive. I'm afraid in the whole hour, I only saw 10 birds. So I think that gives you a picture of the bird life in my garden, which isn't particularly impressive, and I will explain that in a minute. But let's fill this in. So I did see one blackbird, I saw a chaffinch. I do get collared doves and blue tits and crows in the garden, but I didn't see any of those in the hour. I saw one dunnock, I saw 2 wood pigeons, and I saw 1 wren. Okay, so then it checks your record. How does this compare with what you usually see in your garden? I would actually say that this is about normal. It then provides the option to give a bit more detail. This is interesting. Does the garden have any of these? So this is actually one of the things that I wanted to talk about. When I first moved into this property in 2017, the garden was just a lawn. There were no trees, there were no hedges, there were no plants at all. There wasn't a pond, there was nothing. So there were very few insects. And the very strange thing about this garden is that there were 0 birds that would ever come anywhere near the garden. And that was for a good long while. Since moving in, I have planted so much and I've done so much work on the garden that I am seeing the numbers of birds increase, such as getting greenfinch last summer nesting in the garden in one of the very tall trees, which were not here when I first moved. So I did tick all of those features and I finished the form and submitted it. So that is the Big Garden Birdwatch done for this year. So thank you so much for joining me for this video and for my first Big Garden Birdwatch. I'm sorry that there were not a huge variety of birds for me to share, and that I also struggled a little bit with filming them through the glass and filming them quickly before they flew off. But I hope that you found this video interesting. I would be really keen to hear which birds you saw in your garden if you took part in the Big Garden Birdwatch. And I'd genuinely like to hear if you've noticed a difference in the bird population over the years in your garden as well. So thank you so much for watching. Please do support my channel by liking and subscribing, and I will see you next week for the next video.